All right. So the date right now today is 8/4/2023. So it is August 14th, 2023. And we took a loss of 10% and 68 on our account, which equates to $7.14. That's the loss that we took. So let's go over this and let's go over why we lost and why we took this loss and how we can do better for next time. So my daily bias originally was bearish, which means that I was anticipating that we would hit a sell side liquidity, which is what we actually ended up doing this day. But because of because I woke up extremely late, I kind of missed out on that move. I was anticipating for us to hit down here, and which is what I was anticipating. I knew that we were gonna be bearish because we touched down to a fair value gap right here, which ended up where we ended up bouncing off from. We ended up touching up an imbalance right here in the market, and we ended up bouncing off. So I was anticipating for us to hit this. We'll probably hit yesterday's high tomorrow, and then since we are in a swing point, we could target as well. We could target these following prices right here. We could target 451, and we could target all these prices up here. Maybe even continuing up here to catch the rest of the liquidity that we have outstanding right here, where it is right here, where we have the outstanding liquidity right here, which is 468. This just looks like a retracement on the daily, but I was initially bearish, but we took a loss because of a trend shift. So let's go over why we lost intraday. So we took this loss right now or today because we were anticipating that we would touch up into this fair value gap right here, and we would bounce up, take out this high right here, and this high, and this high, which is all sell side liquidity. But we didn't. And what I failed to notice was that since I took this trade very impulsively without even thinking about it, since I just had woken up like 30 minutes ago, that I didn't realize that we had a trend shift. So if you take a look right here, we had a trend shift. We failed to make another lower high or a higher high right here. We made a higher high right here. You can see right here, we touched down on that fair value gap, ended up bouncing up, which is what I was anticipating for. But since I wasn't awake, I ended up missing out on this move. So then after that, we retraced down here to this fair value gap right here. And then we ended up coming back up, swinging back up, crushing up sell side liquidity right here. Ended up taking out these guys. And then we ended up coming down lower, ended up making a break of structure, taking out buy side liquidity down here. And because of that, we failed to make a break of structure up to the upside again. So because of that, we ended up coming up here, and we couldn't break it. And I was anticipating that we would touch down on this fair value gap, bounce off it, reject it, so it would be an inverse fair value gap, bounce up, target up here, here, and here. But it didn't do that. So my trade idea was invalidated because I failed to notice that we had this area right here, where we failed to make a higher high. And we also came down here, filled this fair value gap. So this anticipated that we are going to end up going lower, possibly even down all the way to here, and possibly even just rejecting off this area right here. We could possibly just reject up this area, take out these highs, take out these lows, and then just swing back up to the upside. But I'm not going to take a trade since my rules apply to me only where I can only take a trade once a day. We can't really take this next opportunity up there because I don't want to put any more risk on the table. It wouldn't be a smart thing to do, even if it would just to be recover my losses. And plus, that's revenge trading. We don't want to do that as well. We want to try to build as much as good habits as possible and try to think about all of this logically and objectively. So we couldn't really have these breaker structures, or we couldn't really get this rejection off this fair value gap. So we ended up just swinging back lower. We could probably get a rejection off here. Look, we had a big wick candle come down here, couldn't close below it, so we came up and then we shot right back up, and it looks like we're gonna go touch down that fair value gap again, and there's a very huge imbalance right here. So it looks like that we're just coming up here to fill this imbalance, and then we could just probably take the next, we could probably just take you know, maybe tomorrow we'll probably target up right here. We probably won't hit this. We'll probably just hit around here, but we probably won't hit this since the day's almost over. We only have 2 more hours in the market. But this is all in the 5 minute. If you take down a look on the 1 minute, you could see what I'm talking about. I was anticipating for this to come up, and look at us, come up. We're coming up, and we could have targeted a good risk to reward, which was a 4.35, which is a 4R risk to reward, but we couldn't really target that. So coming up here, we came up here, and then our initial place to target was all up here to target all sell side liquidity, but didn't happen, and came down here targeting this fair value gap. So you could have really taken this retracement as well, but now I know that I probably shouldn't take a trade 30 minutes after I wake up. I should probably wait an hour or so for I don't make any impulse moves, and then that I should also look at way higher time frames and look at the trend that we're in instead of before taking a trade, because now we're kind of consolidating around this area. We could probably just swing up and just take out all these guys right here. But other than that, that's pretty much the trade. And look, there it goes. Touchdown on this fair value gap. Couldn't break below it. And we're heading back up. We'll probably fill this fair value gap again. Take out these guys, these guys, these guys, these guys, and maybe even these guys. But we probably won't take out this since we don't have enough time. The orders for the institutional traders need time to get filled, but it wasn't enough time. So anyways, that's the end of this one. This is journal entry. I forgot. This is journal entry for SPY. I didn't take any Euro USD trades at 3 o'clock in the morning today as well, but I probably will. I did have a daily bias for it, which was bearish, and that did end up getting hit. But other than that, we didn't really take a trade. But that's the end of this one.